don't like stress, bro.
You don't like
life. I'm here to enjoy life.
Fair enough,
Why am I going to
fair
bring
enough.
stress to
Fair
myself? Do you understand?
All right,
Yeah,
let
fair.
me ask you a question now. So obviously, again, thank you for coming on the pod. There was one topic we wanted to talk to you about today about transitioning.
Wait, before we even do, tell us a little more about you. I mean, because we can't assume all of our watchers.
See, I was
know
even the
what
thing
to
is even the question I was going to say that
Yeah,
that's how I was even
yeah,
going to
yeah.
bring it to
So,
the start.
like, give us a bit of who it feels, just something.
Phils is a very easygoing guy. No like wahala, no like
We
stress.
can see that now.
He just they live life one day at a time. You know, believes in God, believes in love. Although he's taking a break now because they don't show him Pepe. But we thank God.
Every good man goes through it.
Yeah, man. You know, cool dude, rock star, artist, musician, poet, writer, painter. Yeah, just living life now.
So
That's who feels this.
Right.
So even you saying that now, that was going to come to my question now. Today we wanted to talk about transitioning now. And for many people that have known you or may not have even known, you started off in a different way where you were producing at first. And then even some of the talents of what you just said now, I'm sure that's something you've been doing for a while, but now everything is coming to the light. So just speak on like your origin, just like how you got into this creative aspect of yourself in terms of the producing and sort of creating, doing artistry. How did you start there then? We'll go from...
Yeah, artistry for me started in church, man, because I be PK. My dad is a pastor, so I'll be in my dad's church, just kicking it with all the instruments. I'll be designing their handbills for all the crusades and all that. Writing the songs for the programs. At some point, I was a choir master at like 14, 15. So like it was a very musical like upbringing, especially with the church. The family wasn't musical, but like the church was like my playing ground. And I had brothers as well that I would follow to choir practice at a very, very young age. I'm talking like 4-year-old, 5-year-old. So I'll just sit down there and watch them just do their thing. And I'll just soak it all in. So like that was where all that started for me. I'll be going to cyber cafes. That time, remember cyber cafes where you would buy time
tickets,
the computers are there.
Bro, I would go to cyber cafes so much. My dad thought I was doing Yahoo. Bro, it was crazy, bro. I would beg my brothers to follow me so I could spend time. I would stay all night, bro. And I wasn't even doing anything but just learning about music or learning about painting or like just looking at this work, looking at that work, learning editing, learning like... So I would just soak all that thing like growing up. That was literally my childhood. And then, I met ID Kabasa, Coded Tunes. He signed Nice, made Dongwaso, made that whole album. He signed Olamide first, Coded Tunes, made the Eniduro album. So I met ID Kabasa and I met Olamide in Coded Tunes because I became an intern for Coded Tunes.
Okay.
That was the first time I had like a proper studio and a proper setup. So I started kicking it now, and I was 14 at this time.
How did your... Sorry to have to cut you in, but how did your family, parents, how did they take... because I imagine that every younger person now that's probably watching this is thinking there's so many decisions they want to make that they just can't tell their parents because parents will not understand. Imagine me now at the age of 15 that I want to go and be doing studio work. You better go and face school. You know how African parents can be. So how are you able to navigate that?
Bro, it was hard at first. Bro, because my first show ever was a show for my school. It was in a hotel, not too far from my house. My dad told me not to go, but I snuck out and I went.
Okay.
And I performed. And I came back to the craziest ass whooping, bro. The nastiest shit, bro.
Yeah.
So like my dad wasn't like at first he wasn't like in support. But like he knew I was amazing like at this shit. But like because of the background, it was just do it in the church and that's okay. You get me? But then like he became friends with an artist, Maye Hunter.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Girl, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. because my auntie would come for like counseling and stuff to see my
Right.
dad and all that. So there was a day my auntie was leaving and I just went to meet him. I was my daddy now. Me say I the producer. I had a CD of like 20 beats
Mad.
and some songs I had written. I just gave him the CD to just listen. He was one that played it for ID Kabasa.
I was about to say, how did you get that link? Now it all makes
okay.
sense. Now it all makes
Okay.
sense. Okay.
So
Shout
that's
out
how
to
that
him.
link
Right,
happened.
right.
And ID Kabasa was like, let me see him.
Okay, so yeah, so back to your
So
intern.
first he had to beg my dad's like, so based on the
based
on like the friendship of my hunter,
Okay,
and then my dad told me he saw a vision that God said like he should let me go, that he was gonna watch over me and nothing was gonna happen. So he was like, okay, you have my blessings, but you have to come back every Saturday for Sunday service do your duties as a choir master.
Fair enough.
So I'm like, okay, let's go.
And that's how it started.
Sign the agreement.
Agreement.
We're outside.
So
Cool.
so that's now the transition now from the church now into
Into the
music,
studio. Into the music,
studio
yeah.
now. So how was that? So just give us like an idea of what studio time was like then, because obviously it's changed from
Bro.
when like now you see everybody talking about Afro Beats is the biggest thing, so it's easy to relate. But back then that was the time that it was really just kicking
the
off. So
grounds.
how was
Yeah.
that?
Bro, it was rough, man. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. But it was a lot of passion as well. Like we did it because we loved it. It wasn't really because of the money. It was just a group of people that really fucking love music and want to make this happen. Because we would even say back then that, bro, if we don't make a dime from this shit, we would still be doing, like Olamide and I would tell ourselves that. You get me? Like, that was how much we loved making music. Like, I literally stole Kabasa's password just to like make music with Olamide, because we were like the underdogs in the studio then. Now we go buy Diesel, all those people. So
Nice.
So we would contribute money, buy Diesel. I stole Baba's password, logged in. We would work overnight, save it inside one small flash drive,
Yeah.
delete them from the system. Just
Right.
started, building the relationship like that and working like that. And like, look at what like it has grown to become. Man.
Yeah, because I was going to say that now explains the bond between Phils
Yeah.
and Olamide.
So back then, bro, like the music was, I mean, it still is, but then was like in the rough, man. Like it was. Right now, I think it has its pros and cons now with the technology age and like with platforms and social media. But back then, it was on the streets. It was marketing on the streets. It was grassroots. It was beautiful too, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of us that lived through that era as well to watch the transition of Afro Beats from where it was to where it is now would always get to appreciate like its progress and the worldwide recognition, because then even Nigerians would be a little too shy to want to listen to Afro Beats themselves. I mean, we would listen to it within it, but when you're without your foreign friend, you want to
shy.
jam foreign jams.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be.
Then even the radios wouldn't want to play.
That's how it used to be. So
I
it
guess
used to be.
I'm thinking of it from a different perspective, because I was one of those. I used to listen to it from the outside. So like before I came to Niger, I came at 17 going on 18. But you already had like P Square, all these guys that were popping that. In America, like you said, there were those people that like, I won't listen. But if you were still Niger, you waited for your uncle and auntie that traveled, that came back. Hey, I have some CDs from Nigeria. All those mixed CDs.
Yeah.
Those mixed
Alaba
CDs that you'd be like, so this is how they're partying in Nigeria. Like, okay, this ain't
Alaba, man. See, shout out to Alaba.
Alaba
man.
did the work.
The house I grew up in was literally a 20 naira Marua to Alaba. Like I could trek to Alaba from my house. Like Alaba, I was living in Alaba. I would go and get CDs of like, I felt like Alaba did like played a very important role in showing the world to me,
right,
musically, because that's where I would get all the CDs, like jazz CDs. I would get Indian artists. Like I'll just soak up as bro. Shout out to Alaba, man.
So let me ask a question now. Continuing on this now, what was the big break that gave you guys the sign that okay, this music thing is working? Because obviously you say names like Olamide, but I think the first song I heard from Olamide that when he started was that Eniduro. Do you remember?
Yes,
Eniduro. I know. So like, were you part of that, or when was your first big break as a producer that is like, this your jam is hitting, or like I think we can actually do this thing?
Oh no, I wasn't part of Eniduro. But I was part of the Rhapsody album, because that was my first placement. It was a song called "I'm Going In," featuring Phils. But after I interned in Coded Tunes for a while, I left. Because my Hunter again had a friend that just built a studio and was looking for like a producer to like, mount all the gear and stuff. And then I jumped on it ASAP because now I have my own space. Remember, I would still
Yeah.
I was
Password
still
now,
time
too.
in Coded Tunes, but now
Yeah.
I had my own, and I was just young. I was like 15, going on 16 then. So I jumped on it ASAP, got into Ajawa Estates, started producing for like boys in the street, young kid doing his thing. And then Olamide hit me up on Twitter because his contract in Coded Tunes finished. So
Okay.
with Kabasa's blessing,
You just okay.
he
Okay.
started
Okay.
his own thing. And I was like, yo, I'm starting this P called YBNL, man. Like, I miss working with you, man. Remember when we used to do it in this? You get me? Remember when we used to do it in Coded Tunes? Let's link up, man. So we linked up in Ajawo Estates, and that was when we made Festival.
Oh,
Oh,
damn!
wow.
That same day.
That is so
He dropped it
iconic.
Look
the
at
next day, and I was just 16, so it was wild.